It's got the K and the H moving it right or left, or up or down, and I used backwards instead of counterintuitive. Thought that might be easier for some people. Now, the reason why I did it that way over here is, okay, the A stretches or compresses Y. This doesn't work backwards. Counter your answer would be if this were B. This doesn't get twice as big, this gets half as big. The Y values are now half the size of these. So it flips up here. This goes from here down to -2. So if I rotate it around the x-axis and make it half as big, it'll go up to +1. It'll only go half as far up.
But isn't that the A value?
Yeah.
But we have to also worry about the negative.
And then it goes over here. It'll go up. One way to look at that, remember how I said A is kind of like slope in all functions? Well, since these are linear, it's very much like slope. And what happened to the slope here? This top one is half as steep as this bottom one. Okay, I know it also switched from negative to positive, but it also is only half as steep as the ones below it. Yes?
Can you forget to move it to the...
You know what? I haven't done that yet. I was doing one thing at a time, and I wasn't following the -2. The -2 means to move it where?
Right.
Right to. All of these points. So instead of going up to there, it's going to start here.
Can you tell me that before I write in pen?
I'm sorry, Lauren.
Well, I don't think math does in pen.
I think math notes are fun.
Why? would you
You're
do
not
that?
supposed to.
If you're very, very careful,
That's going to be -2 too.
Like, my teacher used to always get mad at me for using my pen,
Well, it's a
so
one.
I started using a
No, it's
pencil.
not negative side.
okay. So if I'm going to label these points just that, if you're worried about your drawing, and on the test I'll probably ask you to, make sure you label these points to make sure that even if you draw it terribly...
Move the negative side too.
Pardon?
If you move that, you have to move the negative side.
Yes.
Like the black part.
No. No, the black part never changes. The black part's the original function.
Okay.
So that doesn't move. And this is 6, 1. Please double check me on my labeling of my points. Did I do so correctly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks right.
Looks right? Okay.
Half.
Good. Good, good, good. All right, halfway up. Now, that's number 40. 44,
It's annoying.
same graph, says that g of x is going to be twice. This is really annoying.
Then
One half on the inside.
So it doesn't negate each other?
Not automatically. You know, for some functions it will.
Not this one?
Well, let's take a look. Take a look. The fact that it's linear, this could be interesting. What would this 2 normally tell you to do?
To the right.
Yeah.
Make it double the length.
Double the length or what? The word length is...
The height.
Well, it would make the y values twice as big. Or double the slope is another way to look at it. Now, since this is a negative slope, instead of going down to -2, it would go down to -4. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, one way to look at it, let's try this one for A. A makes things go twice as far away from the x-axis. Okay, if A is 2, it makes things go twice as far away from the x-axis. So this 0 is not going to move, because twice 0 is 0. But this -2 being 2 units from the x-axis, that's going to go down here to 4 units away from the
Oh, wait.
x-axis.
It's going to get...
Don't draw it in pen yet, Lauren, because we haven't dealt with the 1/2 yet. Okay?
Write it on pencil.
So this 2,
Where's scratch up?
okay, hang on. This 2 makes things go twice as far away from the y-axis. I'm sorry, from the x-axis. Makes things go twice as far, makes the y values go twice as far away. Take a look at what I wrote up there again. The g of x equals f of b of x.
So the x...
You notice on the top one for A, I said that A stretches or compresses y. And on B, I said compresses or stretches. Why did I switch those?
It depends.
Because it normally will compress.
Oh! Wait, I
Because
think I
x
recall.
comes before y.
Because x comes before y. There you go.
A doesn't have to be, if it's less than 1, it stretches, and if it's greater than...
Yes, Lauren's got it.
Oh,
Guys, listen up. Yeah. These things are backwards, okay? When you get to x, large x values shrink the x values by that much. Okay? So this 1/2 would actually make the x's go further away, yeah. And a 2 would make them go closer. If you look at that page where I showed you the 8 common functions were in the back of the book, that page with the blue hints, the way they phrase it, they use c instead. But they say basically when b is greater than 1, it shrinks it by that much. You divide by that much. That's why I said b was a divisor and a was a multiplier. Okay? So when you divide by 1/2, that's the same as doubling, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So that means that this function is going to go twice as far away from the origin in the x direction and twice as far away from the origin in the y direction. So they don't cancel each other out. Yeah, it gets even more.
It's rowdy.
It's out of control.
It does. It's off the hook up here. So instead of 4 units away from the origin, we're now 8 units away from the origin.
Why?
Because the 1/2 means you double the distance the x values are from the origin.
Okay.
And the 2 means you double the distance the y units are from the origin.
So
Now 0 is still 0. And this will go down to, well, 4. Yes. Now, the most important thing about this is to make sure that you've taken that you have turned off your, Yes, that you've set-
That's going to go on the internet?
that is going to go on the internet, yes.
Not like that, like the ringtone. That's not expected of a teacher.
Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction. It's a great song.
I don't know.
I saw them live at the Black Cat in 1994.
I would expect you to have like
Old person classical music or something.
like
Classic rock or something. Disco. I don't know. Where are you going with this?
I just forgot.
Beatles.
No.
I told you, Mr. Bellevue. I told you he was going to do it.
Okay. Now, I'm going to label my points here to make sure that even if I drew it incorrectly, So even if you do a poor drawing, if your points are labeled, I will understand what you mean.
Don't you have to change that to positive now?
Which one?
The origin one in the middle.
I didn't label it?
Yeah.
I don't really leave room. Do you guys know where the origin is? Do I have
Oh,
this?
wow. I did not really.
Do we have to switch it to positive?
Where? Nope, not in this case, because 2 is the same sign. 2 doesn't change sign. We flipped this one because it was negative 1/2. The red one got flipped because it was negative 1/2.
Okay, what if that was negative 2?
Then this would, boom, be the mirror image above the x-axis. Okay?
That's correct.
The homework today, which you're going to start in class for Monday, is up here. 44 to 56 every fourth. Page 261, 60 to 61. And I want you to use the difference quotient, that first thing I showed you. Page 261, 64 to 80 every fourth. Before you start that, though, over here, the difference quotient. Chris, yeah, follow me this way. Okay. That's this formula that had the Dairy Queen, or the difference quotient, equals f of x plus h minus f of x over h, where x is a starting point on the x-axis, and h is the distance to the next x value. It's the same as finding the slope between 2 points. And finding the slope between 2 points on a function is the same as finding the average rate of change. Remember that? Okay, so there's a couple of problems where you're asked to find the average rate of change, and it's the same as finding the slope between those 2 points. Questions, comments, concerns, compliments?
Awesome idea with the video.
Thank you. Hope it works well. I hope you look back to it and are...
Keep it on there and not take it off.